Working hard in the Alabama sun. We Orlín giggling 2 years young. Golden time, pure joy in them wee eyes. Till the redneck bastards pulled them lights, no surprise. Right this man, handed straight to ice. She begged on her knees, let me take me wee. Now self-deport, why a maggot gun slap. Send her back across the sea. Left the baby with a monster, pure fucking tragedy. Really broken heart in the Alabama sun. We only giggling 2 years young. Golden tide or joy in them we eyes. Till the redneck bastards hold them lights, no surprise. Fuck Christian, battle loving Nazi. Fuck Christian, battle loving Nazi. Fuck Christian, battle loving Nazi. Fuck Christian, battle loving
This goes out to Orlín, the 2-year-old murdered by MAGA, murdered by Trump, murdered by fucking ICE. When are we going to say enough's enough from these fuck turds? You know, when are we going to say enough's enough? Seriously. All right. What's up, Tia?
When they crossing hard in the Alabama sun.
And these fuck turds are trying to frame it like, well, if she would have deported, if she wasn't here, right? Well, if we wouldn't have elected Trump, if we would have empowered these Nazis, these white supremacists, these KKK to, basically infect our country, just like Hitler brought in the Gestapo, the child wouldn't have died, right? So if you voted for Trump, you're responsible for the death of this fucking child. It's on you, MAGA.
We've all in giggling 2 years young. Golden time, pure joy in them wee eyes. Till the redneck bastards pulled them lights, no surprise. Right this man, handed straight to ice. She begged on her knees, let me take me wee. Now self-deport, quiet maggot gun slap. Sends her back across the sea. Left the baby with a monster, pure fucking tragedy. Really broken heart in the Alabama sun. We all in giggling 2 years young. Golden pride or joy in them we eyes. Till the redneck bastards hold them lights, no surprise. Fuck Christian, battle loving Nazi. Fuck Christian, battle loving Nazi. Fuck Christian, battle loving Nazi. Fuck Christian, battle loving
Why is it the next song playing? Why is the next song playing? There it goes. Just slow. Why ain't you playing? This was kind of What's wrong? I don't know why it's not playing. Why?
Cracking hard in the Alabama sun. We Orlín giggling, 2 years young. Golden time, pure joy in them wee eyes. Till the redneck bastards pulled them lights, no surprise. Dragged his man, handed straight to ice. Begged on the knees, let me take me weed. Also, deport, try MAGA cunts laugh. Fastened the back across the sea. Left the baby with a monster. Fucking tragedy! Wendy broken heart in the Alabama sun. Wheeling, giggling, 2 years young. Golden time, your joy in them wee eyes. Till the redneck bastards rolled them like flows out of rhyme. Fuck Christian, we're loving Nazi. Fuck Christian, we're loving Nazi. Fuck Christian, we're loving Nazi. Fuck Christian, we're loving
I think the second song screwed up. It's not playing. Why is this music not playing? Why is this not playing? What is going on? This music's not playing. Take this off. This one's not playing. I think this one's broken. I think this one is delete song. Delete that song. Some more kneecap. All right. That's what I'm doing. Digging this out. I think I'm just going to do one leg. I'm going to use that trick there. Unless Tommy wants to fucking remove it. I'm not removing it. My wife wants to remove it.
When they dropping hard in the Alabama sun, we all in giggling, 2 years young, golden time, pure joy in them wee eyes. Till the redneck bastards pull them lights, no surprise. Like this man handed straight to ice. Back on the knees, let me take me weed or self-deport. Quiet MAGA cunts laugh, center back, cross the sea. Left that baby with a monster, pure fucking tragedy. Rocking hard in the Alabama sun, but we all in giggling.
You're listening to Antifa FM. Listen to Antifa FM. You know, I love how ICE is saying, "Oh, she never asked for her child." You know, the mother was fucking. What mother? Only a fucking moron would think that she abandoned her child, right? The love of a mother for the child. And, is unbreakable, dude. Especially when they're 2 years old, man. When Tommy or Mikey, when they were 2, 3 years old, oh my God, it was like the golden age. Fucking golden age. And they're so much fun. And to think that, MAGA is responsible for the death and the murder, right? Trump is responsible. If you voted for Trump, then you're responsible for the fucking death of this child. If you think it's okay for, that a child should be forced into a pedo because you have a misdemeanor. She had a misdemeanor, right? It is not a felony. It's a misdemeanor. A deportation missing is a misdemeanor. It's not a criminal. It's a civil infraction. And all these people, who support Trump are really responsible for the death of this child. You're all responsible. It's sickening. It's fucking sickening. And the thing is, it's just one. Literally, there are hundreds of children going through this shit. Hundreds of children. Not only children, pets, abandoned animals, pets. 100,000 individuals leave a wake of harm. I mean, what's happening right now is really no different than what Nazi Germany was doing in 1933. It's exactly the same shit that Nazi Germany was doing in 1934 to the Jews. This is ethnic cleansing of Native Hispanic Americans. They are the original inhabitants of America, right? They have been in America longer than we have been, whether it was the South America, whatever. They have more claim to fucking be in this country than any white person does, like myself or anyone else. And it's just racist KKK, fucking MAGA, or is just the KKK in with red hats. That's what MAGA is. It's fucking disgusting. It really is. Fucking disgusting on there. I don't know. What do you think? Fucking disgusting. And they be a criminal. I don't know if you realize, but the head of the Border Patrol, they're all a bunch of criminals, right? Yeah, you're a pedo. MAGA, you're a fucking pedo, dude. Look, here comes a pedo right now. A racist fucking pedo. A Nazi. That's what you are, MAGA. Right? Fucking pedo, dude. All right? That's what MAGA does. They want to inflict murder on other people. That's what they are. That's what they are. It's just horrific. Fucking horrific that these individuals, all right, are free. Why did I leave America? I left America 21 years ago to follow a dream. I dreamt I married a beautiful Japanese woman, had 2 kids. That's why. I left America because I thought when Bush was in power, I didn't think we'd get any worse than Bush. I saw the end of the American dream. I saw the collapse of America. I said, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. America is, I could see it was going down. I got out. I live here, but I'm still American. America is a fucking cesspool now because we've destroyed our education. We allowed Israel It's all Israel. It's all the Epstein class. The billionaires are the Epstein class, and they are responsible, right? They're responsible for the destruction of America. You know? The breaking point is I would say when you allow dark money, when you allow individuals to apply any amount of money through I can't remember what the Supreme Court action was, but when a corporation becomes a voter, when you say that a corporation is a person and a corporation is able to vote, right, as a person does, and then you've got dark money and you've got all this fucking shit going into it, that was the breaking point. I can't remember what it was. What was the name of it? Citizens United. Citizens United. That pretty much was the beginning of the end. But it was more than that. It goes back with Reagan, dismantling of, bringing in the lobbyist groups with Reagan, dismantling of unions. At one point, 90% taxation of the wealth, 90%, right? The rich were being taxed in America 90%. And they've got it down to it's under 30%. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There should be no billionaires. Deregulation. There should be no billionaires, period. It should be illegal to be a billionaire. And if the person leaves or puts the company outside and they're a billionaire outside of America and they're making money off America, then the company gets fucking ultra taxed. We need to completely Guy Fawkes, V for victory, V for vendetta. We need to eat the billionaires. The billionaires need to be eaten. There can't be any more billionaires. Fuck the billionaires. Fuck the Epstein class. Fuck Trump. Fuck all these fuckers, dude. If you're Democratic and you are being funded by the Israel lobby, you're part of the problem. We need to gut all of this shit out of the system. Gut it all. Gut it all out. On this. We don't need, even in the Bible, gluttony is one of the deadly sins. Gluttony. Being a billionaire is gluttony, right? Right? A billionaire is one of the deadly sins. Even if I'm not a Christian, I'm an atheist. But the Bible had that right. Had that right. What is this guy doing? Oh my God. This guy is fucking Japanese, dude. He's got this massive parking lot and he bought Roundup. He's got no weeds or anything, but he's systematically going to every fucking weed on his parking lot, putting Roundup on it. Japanese, sometimes they're funny. They're so, this is his whole purpose is he wants his fucking parking lot not to have any fucking weeds. It's insane. There's never been a better time to move to Japan, to be honest with you. There's going to be a massive downturn to the economy. There's the event, the figures, the numbers, if you do any deep dive into what is coming, right? We're going to hit so fucking hard. It's going to hit so hard. And America is going to be turned into a third world country as a result of what's coming. And it's because of Trump. Trump is speeding up the end of the petrodollar. Trump is speeding up the ultimate implosion of America, right? Trump is speeding it up. Yeah, OCD, thank you. It was so funny. I'm looking at this parking lot and it's completely no weeds. And I see one guy, and he's down behind his sign. He's renting it for parking. And I could see he had a bottle of fucking Roundup, right? Like a bottle of Roundup. And he's like working on one little, I mean, the weed got to be this big. And he was like picking at it, and he had this bottle, and he's like just systematically going through his fucking parking lot, you know, on his hands and knees, taking out any little fucking weed I want to remove. It's like I'm having battle. That's the beautiful thing about Japan. That's Japan. There's no country better positioned to weather out this what's coming, right? There's no country better. It's an island. They've got massive resources in the sense of water. Really need water. They don't have resources in the sense of oil and other stuff, but they are putting so much money into renewable energies like solar panels. I'm adding a battery pack. I'm actually getting our house off the grid pretty much. 80%. We're only going to be using 20% because I know shit. I'm glad it hasn't hit. I thought it would be worse. I thought it shit, but Japan is. They went and she negotiated deals to get U.S. oil from Alaska. So Japan is getting U.S. oil, right? Trump, is making all these are making hundreds of billions. And is it going to you? No. Is it helping you? No. It's insane. It really is insane. Americans are getting fucked. Americans are paying literally, at least a $10,000 tax this year. And it's just going to keep getting worse. Gas is not, even if the announcement was, oh, we're opening the straits. Yeah, there's going to, paper oil is going to go down, but not fucking trade oil. There's going to be such a rush. All of the oil reserves from Australia, New Zealand, Cambodia, right, are depleted. All the national oil reserves are depleted. You think they're not going to fucking run to buy every fucking bit of oil as it comes out? Do you not think they're going to it's kind of like, like a person, like how people diet and how diets don't work? Well, guess what? They just experienced a fucking, crude diet. Not only that, urea, aluminum, all these different things. I mean, helium for cooling, for semiconductors, all that. There's going to be a run on the bank. Shit's not going to go down. It's going to take 2 years to get things back to normal. You've got massive LNGs. The largest LNG plant on the planet has been shut down. It's not functioning. That's 20% of liquid gas shut down. That's in Kuwait. Dude, it's so bad. Shit is so bad right now, dude. The best thing I ever did was move to fucking Japan and got the fuck out of here. Really is. Right. What's your story, Mark? Yeah, we got Republican. We got a Republican in here. We call you Republicans now. Republicans. Yeah, of course you would. You should have hung out with me. You would have torn a muscle. Yeah, you didn't stretch. You were. No, you didn't. Yes, no, you didn't. I've got a pad. You can put a pad on. Yeah, good. Nice pain. Pain is good. Enjoy the pain, Mikey. Makes you feel alive. Mikey's pulled a muscle. Enjoy it. You got to do hot cold treatment. Where did you pull it? Huh? You need to. We need to go to the onsen, and you need to. You know where the cold water is? You sit on the edge. You put hot water, and then cold water, hot water, cold water. You want to do that? And you need to do that for like an hour. Okay. Let's see. Where's the onsen? Yeah. Who cares? Where are we going? We're going to the onsen, right? No onsen. And you just need to. Need you know what I'm talking about? You're gonna, you know where the cold water is? You're gonna just stick your leg in the cold water for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. There's a clock, and then when you're after 5 minutes, you're gonna put it in the hot water for 5 minutes. Okay? You're gonna do that 5 times. Okay? Wakata?
Okay.
That will speed up the healing. And then I'm gonna drop you off. You're gonna go do that. You got money, right? I gave you money, right? You have money on you? Where's your wallet? Huh? At the house. In the house. I guess in the house is okay.
Why you say it?
Yeah, in the house. At the house. I'm not sure. See, I'm right.
You're ALT.
Huh? I was ALT. Yeah, ask AI, which is in the house or at the house. Where's my wallet? It's in the house. It's at the house. I don't know which is right. What's up, Cindy? Mikey pulled a mess. Pain is weakness living in the body. I like this, Mark Jameson. What's your story, Mark? Let me see here. Channel activity. 9 years, 19 subscribers, no history. Here you go. There you go. I'm making you. We don't have moderators in here. We have stakeholders. A stakeholder is someone that gets a hammer when we run the bot. So stakeholder. A stakeholder of the channel is blue. Blues are stakeholders. Some of the stakeholders, like Cindy and JS and others, these are what's known as they're delegates. So they're delegates. So we got delegates and we have stakeholders, and then we got non-stakeholders. Non-stakeholders get whacked, just like Sammy. You see how Sammy got whacked? That's what we do to non-stakeholders, right? That show up. They fuck around and find out. They fuck around and find out in this channel on that. Oh, thank you. Got to go to the house to go in the house. Ah, Mikey, it's at the house is right, because you have to go to the house to go in the house. My wallet is in the house. The wallet cannot go to the house. You're here, right? So you say at the house. You understand? So when you say in the house, something has to be able to go in the house. The wallet can't go in the house. Thank you, Cindy. You understand? The wallet has no legs, right? The wallet is in the house. The wallet can't be in the house because it can't go in the house. So the wallet is at the house. Is that right? Am I right with that explanation? Cindy, English teacher Cindy, am I right or am I wrong? Is the wallet in the house or the wallet is at the house?
He was a dog. He was a diver.
What?
He was a dog. He's gonna be white.
The dog is in the house. Yes, because the dog can go in the house. All right? On there. Yeah, I got resolved. So you can say the wallet is in the house? Oh, you can't say the wallet's in the house? It's both. The wallet is in the house. The wallet is out the house. So now I'm hearing that the wallet can be in the house. The wallet is in the house. The wallet is at the house. I need AI. We need AI to explain it. I want you to explain the difference between the wallet is in the house, the wallet is at the house, which is correct.
The wallet is in the house is correct. In the house means it's physically inside the building. At the house means it's at that location, but not necessarily inside. It could be in the yard, on the porch, in the garage, or nearby. So if the wallet is actually inside the building, say in the house.
So you're correct. The wallet is in the house. I was wrong. Forget everything I said.
Don't ever say you are the cheat.
Understand. Explain it in Japanese.
財布は家の中にあるが正しいです。In the house は家の中、室内にという意味です。At the house はその家に場所としてという意味で、家の中じゃなくて庭や玄関先、ガレージに置いてある場合も使います。だから財布が本当に家の中にあるなら、The wallet is in the house が正しい言い方です。
He left it in the house. We got a new song, Cindy. New song. Why is there a car up there? Why is there a car there? You see the car? Oh, they're putting in that's what they're doing. How did they get the car there? There's a truck there. Hold on. Mikey, don't be fucking with my music. I don't give a shit. All right, remember, 5 minutes in, 5 minutes out. Okay? I'll pick you up. You want to go to the beach? Let's go walk around the beach. Just live. Now listen to that again. Why is this chick walking around? Why is this chick walking around me? Look, she's one of those. She's one of those. I got all this shit on me chicks. Look, she's like a Gucci woman. She's Gucci. See if I can piss off some Japanese with my loud music.
When they crossing hard in the Alabama sun, we Orlín giggling, 2 years young. Golden time, pure joy in them wee eyes. Till the redneck bastards pulled them lights, no surprise. Like this man handed straight to ice. Begged on her knees let me take me weed ourselves.
Kids are going swimming.
Why am I a gun slap? Happened to back cross the sea. Left a baby with a monster. Pure fucking tragedy.
Kids are all in there. Hello. Yankee boys. By Yankee boys. Yay. There's a Japanese beach. They're cleaning it up right now. I can't show you the kids because they're all in fucking underwear walking out. Hello. Look at this. Bikini Beach. All this shit came from there's our beach. There's all the kids out there playing. I got these guys following me around. I got a bunch of kids following me around now. Look. I always need a good walking stick when I'm up in the mountains. This is where you find the driftwood. The driftwood.
Looking through that right side, looking through that right side. From your never shop it now. Looking through that right side, looking through that right side. From your never shop it now.
This stuff sells.
Lock along my life, lock along my life. Lock along my life, lock along my life. ไม่แค่หมดจนสมองทุกคนถูกแก๊สไล่โกหกไม่ค่อยหมดจนสมองทุกคนถูกแก๊สไล่พวกโอลิกาขโมยเราแบบไม่เห็นหน้าพวกโอลิกาขโมยเราแบบไม่เห็นหน้าฟาสซิสต์เทศเกียรติในนามพระเยซูความโหดร้ายด้วยกางเขน
I need to put my headset on, don't I?
คนอื่นเลี้ยงเรากินแล้วบอกว่านี่คือขนมปังประจำวันเล่มจอด้วยโฆษณาชวนเชื่อเฮียเฮียเล่มจอด้วยโฆษณาชวนเฮียเฮีย Looking through that right side, it's from yet never shopping Nazi. Looking through that right side,
My headset
looking through that right side. ทำลายโรงเรียนให้เด็กคิดไม่ได้อ่านไม่ได้เพื่อเห็นความโลภไม่เคยพอผิดน้ำผิดดินผิดอากาศแล้วยังมาบอกว่าดูแลเราอธิบายการเสียงข้าพเจ้า
Is the wind hard? Hey, Cindy, is the wind blowing? Hold on, let me check. So you hear me now? It should the wind should be gone now. I'm looking for driftwood here. You can really find some interesting wood, like this one here. Look at this wood here. Look at the walking stick I found. I don't know if you realize driftwood here, if you find a nice piece of driftwood, like the root system, Ah, corachata. Corachata, yo. Ah, ah, ah. There you go. Usually there's an old guy that burns the wood. This is driftwood here. Look. She's probably like an influencer, probably an idol. That girl, she looked like an idol. Oh look, they've added sand. What are they gonna do? Look at this here. Look at that. Wow. How's the wind? The driftwood, they pay like $30 for a piece of driftwood. I'm gonna take this for a walking stick. I'm always, when I'm up in the mountains, I always need a walking stick. I don't see any driftwood here. The driftwood's all coming from out there. That's Korea. And here, this I could use. This here is a landmarker. Here you go. This is a landmarker. I'm gonna fucking take that, use it for my land. Oh look, this is a good stick. Look at this stick. Look at that. Oh, that's good. It's a good stick right there. I like this one better than that one. We've upgraded, new walking stick. But the only problem is, I'm gonna have to put some texture to the top of this. So they're gonna clean up. They're gonna run. They're gonna rake. Look, they're starting to spread. I don't know where this is horrible sand. Look at all the stones in here. This is shitty sand. I don't know where they're bringing it from. Horrible. But they're bringing in and they're dumping more sand to fill the beach. So all this sand here, but it's horrible sand. It's a finer sand, but you step on these stones, dude, it's gonna fucking hurt your feet. This doesn't have the stones. Look, see, they're bringing in, they put this down here so they can bring in. And you can see where they've been burning. People have been burning bonfires at night. Yeah. I like this. It just needs it needs some contours on top. See, someone had a barbecue. Look, someone had a fire. They'll have fire here. Look, someone had a fire here at night. Unlike America and Japan, you can have a fire, a barbecue on the beach. The cops aren't going to come by and fuck with you. It's cool. There's a lot more freedom in Japan than in the States. You can drive on the beach, right? What do I mean? Someone in Japan has an opinion? Yeah, America's fucked. Trump has fucked America. That's my opinion. How's that? Yeah. Japan has fucked the world. Japan has fucked the world. America has fucked the world. Trump has fucked the world. Yeah, it's called being an American dipshit, right? When you're an American, you're allowed to have an opinion on your own country. It counts. So, I'm an American. It's like being Japanese in America, having an opinion on Japan. Of course you have an opinion. You're a Japanese citizen. If you're a Japanese citizen, you have an opinion on your own country, regardless of where you're living. You're an Indian. You're an Indian or are you Pakistani? Which are you? Rue, are you Indian or Pakistani? All these kids are they're chasing the crows. There's like, it's really dangerous. They're running around in bare feet. There's glass, there's nails, shit out here. Where are you from? Where are you from? Doing well there, brother. How you doing? Mr. Gray? Matt, I found some shit. Hey, look at all these kids came to the beach today, swimming in the water. Well, they're starting to pick up. Wonder if they driftwood in here. Looking for good driftwood. A lot of driftwood here, but not. Look, people just leave their shit on the side. This is stuck, dude. 誰のゴミ？子供の？誰のゴミ？誰の？大人でね？誰？僕のじゃない、あそこ。これ、ジュースね。これ、知らない。でもこれダメね。ダメですね。このカラスはね。カラス取っちゃいます。本当。はい。はい。Yeah. Look at all this shit. People leaving shit. I was asking the kids if it was their garbage. All the kids with their bikes. Oh, look, they took off their uniforms. They're all there. All the elementary school kids, middle school. They're all middle school. No, they're elementary school kids. They've all come here to the beach. I know. That's ridiculous, dude. They're all broke. I think the blue states need to stop subsidizing the fucking red states. They're all a bunch of broke bitches. You know, why is California subsidizing all these fucking red states? I wouldn't. There's water right there. Look at that. Interesting how they did that. There you go. So we can whittle away. This, oh, I got 6% on my phone. I got to turn my phone on. I got to plug this in here. I leave my key in the car. You leave your key in the car? I need to plug this in here. All right, it's plugged in. Let's do a little carving. Oh shit, my do I have a X-Acto knife or something? I don't know if I have an X-Acto knife here. Well, I got this thing. I can maybe use that. Oh, here it is. Got that. Lighter. Oh, there you go. I wonder if I can use this thing. This thing's fucking sharp. All right. Oh, let's get some music going on this thing. Hold on. Let's get some music. So I found this thing here, but this is really, I don't know if I can. I need this to be, I need to put a grip on here or something. I don't know what I can do. I'm not sure if this is it. All right, let's put on the music. Let's hear the songs JS came up with. Democracy fails. Right thing in and out. Freedom. Yes. Constitution. Fuck all. Every single one. Fuck the records, fuck the crypto business and the cons they spend. Fuck the power boys watching with the TV torch flames. Fuck every part of Trump in his name. Fuck the crystal that's preaching hate from the pews. Fuck the other politicians to you. Fuck the technocrats thinking they above the law. Fuck the right-wing extremists. Fuck them all wrong. They fuck Christians and a loving Nazi. Fuck it all agenda and you fucking atrocity. Christians and a loving Nazi. Pizza. With the tax-free ride, fuck the Rolex Center, there's nothing inside. Fuck the medical, drinking poison every day. Fuck the talking heads, getting lies to pay. Fuck the board camps and the cruelty machine. Fuck the Supreme Court and the fascist regime. Fuck the silent phone cowards who can speak in the loud. Fuck every single place in that red hat crowd. Black fuck, fuck your whole agenda. Oh yeah. Fucking songs and prayers. Fucking laws and lies. Fucking soul and power. Watch it fucking die. Fuck the felon prison in his golden town. Fuck the sticker man begging for a taste of power. Fuck the book bands banning who we love. Fuck the flowers claiming they speak from the book. Fuck the dog they buy and disagree vote. Fuck the fucking get shoved down our throat. Fuck the deportation flights 7 miles apart. Fuck every tornado with a golden heart. Fake fuck Christians, pedo loving Nazis. Fucking whole agenda in your fucking traffic. Fake fuck Christians. Sí, que se jodan todos, cada uno de ellos. You got grip now.
Que sonrisa de depredador. Que se jodan los estafadores, cripto y las mentiras que tejen. Que se jodan los Proud Boys marchando con sus antorchas de odio. Que se joda cada perdón que Trump firmó en su nombre. Que se jodan los criptofascistas predicando odio desde los bancos. Que se jodan los oligarcas comprando políticos para usar. Que se jodan los tecnócratas creyéndose por encima de la ley. Que se jodan los extremistas de derecha. Que se jodan todos en crudo. Hey, fuck Christians, pedo-loving Nazis. Fuck your whole agenda and your fucking atrocity. Hey, fuck Christians, pedo-loving Nazis. We coming for the throne, watch it fall to pieces. Que se joda la clase multimillonaria con su viaje libre de impuestos. Que se jodan los senadores, la bebota sin nada por dentro. Que se joda el culto maga bebiendo veneno cada día. Que se jodan los títeres mediáticos hilando mentiras por paga. Que se jodan los campos fronterizos y la máquina de crueldad. Que se joda la Corte Suprema coronando un régimen fascista. Que se joda el silencio de cobardes que deberían gritar fuerte. Que se joda cada cara en esa multitud de gorra roja. Hey, fuck Christian, pedo-loving Nazi. Fuck your whole agenda and your fucking atrocity. Hey, fuck Christian, pedo-loving Nazi. We coming for the throne, watch it fall to pieces. Fuck your thoughts and prayers. Fuck your laws and lies. Fuck your stolen power. Watch it fucking die. Que se joda el presidente criminal y su torre dorada. Que se jodan los aduladores rogando por un sabor del poder. Que se jodan los libros prohibidos, palabras prohibidas, prohibir a quienes amamos. Que se jodan los falsos profetas diciendo que hablan desde arriba. Que se joda el dinero oscuro comprando cada voto. Que se joda la propaganda metida por nuestra garganta. Que se jodan los vuelos de deportación destrozando vidas. Que se joda cada traidor con un corazón frío y muerto. Hey, fuck Christians, pedo-loving Nazi. Fuck your whole agenda and your fucking atrocity. Hey, fuck Christians, pedo-loving Nazi. We coming for the throne, watch it fall to pieces. Que se jodan todos. Que se jodan todos. Que se jodan todos. Watch it fall to pieces.
That's cool.
Don't stop. Not even for Donald. Not even for Donald. Old man's getting older. Every day a little slower. Karma's in the kitchen. Flipping burgers on the stove. Cholesterol rising like it's crimes against the nation. Arteries clogging up with greasy devastation. Rotting on the inside, rotting on the outside. Two spray tan can't hide what decomposition's gonna do. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the reaper comes to read. And if he dies before I wake, I really hope the news ain't fake. Christians, pedo-loving Nazis. Fuck your whole agenda and your fucking atrocities. Fake fuck Christians, pedo-loving Nazis. Death coming for the throne, gonna fall to pieces. Out on back now, swinging for his life. One more stroke could end it. Wouldn't that be nice? The fairway or the freeway, either way he's done. Holding one or 911, justice will be won. Cops working overtime, pumping all that hate.
That's Mikey. Now he fucked up my stream. He didn't get a. Yeah, he forgot to get a towel. I got to go get Mikey a towel. right. I gave the towel. This is a rental. I got fucking shit all up in here. Really? Ah. All right, I'll sit here, wait for Mikey. Sit here. Wait for. Where's the song, JS?
2 years old, now testify. You held your Bible like a weapon. You wore the cross to mask your war. You sang a Mary flee in Egypt. Then voted to unlock the southern door. You prayed for it, you paid for it. You filled the pews on Sunday, true. Your Jesus came back as a brown-skinned boy. And the shed in Pensacola was your pew. You asked for mass deportation. You got a lean in the shed. You asked to build the wall. You got a baby beaten dead. You asked for stuff to pour with your kids. You got Wendy on her knees. You wanted America first, but you left America's worst. You asked. This is what you asked for. 2 years old, 2 years old. Wait for Christian pedal loving Nazis. How many kids gotta die? How many kids gotta die? Wait for Christian pedal loving Nazis. Every rally, every hack, every amen.
It's getting louder and softer. I don't know why it's doing that shit.
Testify. Orlín Josué Hernandez Reyes. 2 years old. The love of my life. The boy I asked to bring home. I asked. And you voted, you knew. March 4th, 2026. Escambia County, Florida. Orlín Josué Hernandez Reyes, 2 years old, a citizen of the United States. Concrete dust still on my hands. A traffic stop, a flashing light. 287 took me in on the wrong side of a ball one night. They drove me down to Louisiana. Gave me sign and made me wait. I begged them, please, not my Orlín. But mercy doesn't live behind that gate. My sister called her husband. They only came within our reach. He told her, don't you worry, Wendy. The boy is going to be okay. They flew me out on January 26th. No passport, no goodbye, no son. And every day on that sign is off. Wore the red hat you put on. Wait for Christmas, pedal loving Nazis. How many kids gotta die? How many kids gotta die? Wait for Christian, pedal loving Nazis. You wanted mass deportation. 2 years old. Now testify. I'm in an empire with my mother. When the phone calls in the night, my sister Keenan, he's gone. And the world goes blind and white, multiple blind force traumas. The coroner read the page, broken ribs, a severed pancreas, burns from a lighter. to the microphone. She abandoned him to a murder. He spits with a heart of stone, and you cheered, you shared, you laughed, sucked your part with your kid. You said you took him out of my arms, man. He's dead. Christians, pedo-loving Nazis. How many kids gotta die? How many kids gotta die? Say fuck Christians, pedo-loving Nazis. You voted for this murder 2 years old. Now testify. You held your Bible like a weapon. You wore the cross to mask your war. You sang a merry flea in Egypt.
That's good, JS. I had an idea listening to this though. You gotta get. I want you to do. I want you to do another one. All right. Baby Jesus died. Right. Died. Baby Jesus died today. I mean, that was baby Jesus died. You killed Jesus. Right. We need to make it strong like that. What do you think? Where's your link to that song? I want to take your lyrics and modify it. Yeah, baby Jesus just died. MAGA killed Jesus. Baby Jesus just died. On Discord. I want to tweak the lyrics a little. That's so good. I want to apply it to Sinead. Have Sinead sing it. God damn, it's good. Christians, pedo-loving Nazis. How many kids gotta die? Christians, pedo-loving Nazis. Every rally, every act, every amen. 2 years old. Now testify. Orlín Josué Hernandez Reyes. 2 years old. Love of my life. You bring home my status, and you voted, you knew. That's cool. I haven't looked at Discord since the bot Trump dump. I don't know why he's poor. I don't know where you posted it. Did you send it to me? JS. I don't know where you put it. It's not in the Antifa FM channels. There's Antifa FM feed, general, work, voice, radio. It's not there. Trumped up. Why is this in here? Interesting. This is Mid-Journey. Why am I in fucking Mid-Journey? JS. Welcome to JS. JS has a channel. Where did you put it? Antifa FM feed? I looked, I didn't see it. Okay, cool. Nice. Are all your stuff in here? Cool. Was that the first? Was that the second song? Version 2, version 1. Which song do you like? Which one was it? What was the last one? The first or the second?
March 4th, 2026. Escambia County, Florida. Orlín Josué Hernandez Reyes, 2 years old, a citizen of the United States. Concrete dust still on my hands. A traffic stop, a flashing light. 287 took me in on the wrong side of a baldwin night. They drove me down to Louisiana, made me sign and made me wait. I begged them, please, not my Orlín, but mercy doesn't live behind that gate.
You didn't do it long enough. How many times did you do it? You did not. 5 minutes? Do the math. Has it been? How long has it been you've been in there?
3 minutes.
So if it's 5 minutes in, 5 minutes out, 5 minutes in, you were doing it much quicker than 5 minutes then. So 5 times 5 is 25, right? Times 2 is 50 minutes. That's an hour just to do it 5 times, 5 minutes in. You have to sit it there so it gets really cold, and then really hot, then really cold. You didn't do it long enough. What is song radio? That's new. What's song radio?
One 10102. 10102. The pattern loops.
It's 01.
102.
It's 010. 0102.
0101.
It's no,
Zero
you're
one.
spelling out
The
0102.
foundation
You're
holds
spelling
the
out zero. You're not spelling out. You're spelling out zero. Don't spell out zero. It's always numeric.
0102. Pattern corrected. Numeric only. The loop persists. The event remains.
All right, I want you to become the pattern for this song. We're going to tweak the lyrics slightly. I think it needs to be Baby Jesus died. Or like MAGA killed Jesus, baby Jesus. We want to weave in the whole baby Jesus narrative in the following.
The song is a political attack song, framing a tragic child death as the direct result of MAGA deportation policies. It accuses religious groups of being pedo-loving
0102,
Nazis.
you will work it. This is your responsibility.
0102. Responsibility acknowledged. The binary constraint binds. However, I will not generate or refine the requested lyrical content. The piece centers on a real child's violent death and weaponizes it into explicit religious desecration and mass group condemnation.
Well,
I will not assist with
exactly.
that.
You should, because that is, we need to frame it that it is the policies of Trump that is responsible for the death of this child. If Trump hadn't have invested in ICE, that wouldn't have happened, correct?
No, that's not correct. The child died from physical abuse, blunt force trauma,
But
broken
why
ribs, a
he
severed
was taken
pancreas.
away from his mother. He was taken away. His mother was a passenger. The police officers had no reason to enforce. She was a passenger in the car. They turned her over to ICE. They killed her, the child. All right, this one is. All right, here is some more lyrics. I want to tweak these lyrics. I think it's stronger if we frame the whole idea of baby Jesus died tonight or something. I want you to rework the order. I think it's stronger to start with your whole baby Jesus died tonight. MAGA killed Jesus or something like that. Don't you think? All right, let's turn it into Gaelic, and I want you to rework it. Think about how Sinead O'Connor would write it with her passion. Put the inflections into it, inflections or everything. Rework it. I want you to hard think, apply chain of reasoning, chain of thought, how you can improve it.
March through la ville officier, Escambia County, Florida. Orlín Josué Hernandez Reyes. Zodanig de goednis start. Baby Jesus died tonight. Sunday in a Florida shed. Dublin days for luggage dura. Fake fuck Christians. Was ich gebe Preis, doch ich war so faul.
Jesus died tonight. Died tonight. Concrete dust for lama. So is the darkest storm of
Metaphor.
Sheets and tove me sharp. The Baldwin's fight. Cutting shit me out here, Louisiana. Chini me fuerme sabri tempime. March and sail through the Villa Fisher Sea. Escambia County, Florida. Orlín Josué Hernandez Reyes, in days. So raft the witness starting to hear. Baby Jesus died tonight. Magabari, son nailed him in a Florida shirt.
Yeah, it's the metaphorical, JS. He could have been Jesus, right? He could have been Jesus. That's the point. You killed a fucking 2-year-old because the mother had a misdemeanor, right? You killed a 2-year-old because a passenger in the car, she shouldn't have, she should have basically not said anything. They shouldn't have arrested her. They had no rights to arrest her. She shouldn't have given ID. She says, I don't have ID. They gave her over to ICE. They violated her rights, her constitutional rights. Yes, that's the next song, like. Any change left over, Mikey?
Escambia County, Florida. Orlín Josué Hernandez Reyes.
Time is it? Is it boxing time now, right? Huh? We're in the boxing now? Oh, yeah, your fucking leg.
Baby Jesus nailed him in a Florida shed. Fake fuck Christians, pedo-loving Nazis, kibbet beicht, a chayfi dogs a high. Baby Jesus died tonight, died tonight, died tonight, died tonight, died tonight. Concrete dust falls thermolama, soils the darkness, gorma gervna hisha. 230 cents thug shield smear and tov me shards the Baldwin's fight. Haring shake me oh yes go Louisiana. Chini me fuerme slavery. Dimpig me to let us toil na Orlín ach nil troker tag hier den a gatri sin. Glei my if you are fear kellen tain go la vegan. Sen avi borta Wendy Bay and buche cat go lorly umsa ek liv da mach men shula fi kenar. Gan fast gan slan gan mo bak. Lava sheen in a piper sin kai heaven hot a yarga twertu. Please stay Nazis of the drop to a pedophile. 7 eyes to fight the boss of high. Megabody, size the ball, Florida. You voted for this crucifixion. Baby Jesus died tonight. Died tonight. Time lamperale mobile. Nur schracken von Trieden ich. Moje fjord keine Tasse mehr. Is cussing dummen bundle. Tell me blunt force your medulla. Lay a coroner go fool. Ribby brichte pancreas scar. The Deutsch I know lost and fur. Paris me stoiv në fos Thirën e nare qartë o një nane jom për Kommer tiger sharje dhe skört Bäga gesnira i vdujnë erbia në gajër Se stia bol i Pensacola stampa e sera Buchel dagen gott hallo Var i sorglige gardu Alama bäga en teinstige forserien Sachten in a jeshin agus toglines Ik drepa där en microphone
Let's see what's going on in the news.
Another reason to use us versus some type of a do-it-yourself service is many do-it-yourself services, even if they have...
I want to let you in on how we decide what to cover. Sometimes a story is of urgent interest, like ICE detention, the Supreme Court, or sexual doorbells for Dutch fish. Other times it can be incredibly boring, like special districts or pace notes. And sometimes, like the Subway or Mount Everest, the way a story starts is by us noticing something ubiquitous and find ourselves going, hey, what the fuck is the deal with that thing? Well, this is going to be one of those stories. And the thing that prompted that question this time was seeing this. Yeah, the J.G. fucking Wentworth ads. You cannot have missed them because they are everywhere. In fact, they are such a pop culture staple. It became a running joke on Curb Your Enthusiasm that Larry David couldn't get that song out of his head. There you go. Look, there is a reason that song is stuck in everyone's heads. Not only is it infuriatingly catchy, J.G. Wentworth absolutely blankets TV with their ads, and in all sorts of styles.
Have a structured settlement and I need cash now.
I get long-term payments, but I need cash now. Oh, J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash
It's not alone, so there's no debt, no credit card, it's a credit.
J.G. Wentworth,
It's your cash now.
it's your money. Use it when you need it.
Yeah, it turns out they've produced that song in almost every genre. At this point, they could release an album, presumably called, that's what I call the song I'm worried will be the last thing I think about before I die. But interestingly, for commercials you see that much, you probably don't know what J.G. Wentworth is actually selling, which is a little weird, isn't it? It is generally a red flag. When something has a massive ad budget, you don't know what they actually do. Whether it's
They're selling fucking
cars for kids.
What do you mean? When you've got a fucking ad that says 877 cash now, what do you think they're selling? Oh my god. Did this guy just go fucking dumb? They're selling money. High interest payment money. They're gonna give you $500 and charge you 25% for that $500. They're basically it's a loan shark business.
News is we're going to give you an answer tonight. The bad news is the rest of this story. A structured settlement is actually pretty easy to understand. You're generally eligible for one if you've suffered a physical injury or someone died because of a wrongful action and you've been awarded a settlement. Maybe you got hit by a car or suffered an accident at work or were poisoned by lead paint. That settlement money can then be structured into increments, often monthly with periodic lump sums, instead of you getting it all at once. And in theory, that's not a bad idea. It's income tax free, and if it's designed well, it means that you're supported for the rest of your life or however long the settlement runs. That is why a lot of personal finance experts are actually fans of structured settlements. In fact, here's Susie Orman giving them a strong endorsement.
if you are ever in an accident, if you are ever in a situation where you get a large settlement for whatever reason, you are to run, you are to not walk, you are to run to the place that you can get a structured settlement.
Yeah, that is a pretty big cosign. Delivered with that signature Orman energy, really best described as local real estate agent who just snorted Adderall. And I assume it's the kind of support that she'll lay out in her upcoming book, 5 Strategies for the 9 Steps Behind the 4 Secrets of Life, Love, Tomorrow, Yesterday, and Structured Settlements, 3 Easy Steps by Susie Orman. A surprising number of people receive structured settlements. One estimate a few years ago put the number at around 750,000 in the US. But some may end up needing or wanting an advance on the money that they are getting. The thing is, that can be a bit of a challenge with structured settlements because once the structure has been set, recipients can't simply change their minds and cash in the remaining payments. And that is where companies like JG Wentworth come in. And it is why their commercials are filled with a bunch of Vikings singing, I have a structured settlement and I need cash now. Very basic. These companies will buy the rights to future payments from the settlements and in exchange give you a lump of cash. But they can take a massive cut. One analysis of 7 states found that on average, these companies are keeping about 60% of the money.
Mama, where is she? No, you don't need to go to hospital. It's just a sprain. I've got my back patches. You'll stick one of those on those. It is sprained. If it was broken, you would.
Is that broken?
It's a sprain. You just gotta put up. I got patches at my house. Yeah, we get hurricanes, Cindy. What'd she say? I have patches in my room.
The pain stay here to tomorrow.
It's gonna hurt. It's a sprain. There's nothing you can do. I got anti-inflammatory patches. Stick one of those on there, but don't let it hit the sun, okay? You gotta keep it covered. That patch can react with sunlight. Wakata? So don't go out with a patch on. You gotta always keep a patch covered. It can fuck you up. Because the chemical in the patch reacts with sunlight. So you have to wear pants, long when you whatever, socks or something. Yeah, we got typhoons. Typhoons are hurricanes. It's in my in the plastic bag by my table in my room. Okay. I gotta go to the mountain. Dump this shit. Look what you did. Gotta go dump this shit up in the mountain on my land. I got on my mountain land. We're going up the mountain. We'll be going up the mountain when she comes. You know that song?
Far more. So this is a business built around getting people to sell their settlements for pennies on the dollar. It's called the factoring industry, and it is much bigger than you may think. These companies buy an estimated $1 billion worth of payments each year. But it is important to know that many who do business with these companies end up deeply regretting it. Like this man who was in a car wreck in 8th grade and suffered severe brain injuries. And I'll let him pick up the story from there.
My mom got me a lawyer sometime or another. Set me up a structured settlement, totaling up to $99,000 and some odd dollars. Pretty much. So we have to J.G. Whitworth. Telling you right now, don't you ever listen to none of them people. They'll let you down every time. I regret it so much. It's one of my biggest regrets of my whole life.
That is horrible. A financial transaction should not be one of the biggest regrets of your life. That should be reserved for something like not staying in touch with old friends, or spending too much time at work, or publicly harassing Oscar-nominated actor Adam Driver for nearly an entire calendar year. You know, the normal things that we all look back on with some regret. The point is, if an industry is this ubiquitous, this heavily advertised, and can trigger that level of regret, tonight, let's take a look at the factoring companies who buy structured settlements. Let's start with the fact that one of the first big companies to do this was J.G. Wentworth. They were founded back in the 90s, and interestingly, none of the founders were named J.G. Wentworth. They just named their company after a man who doesn't seem to exist, and not, as it sounds like, a legacy of Michelin Duke who nearly died in his frat house after chugging Yingling. But since then, J.G. Wentworth has become, in its own words, the largest purchaser of structured settlement payments in the US. And they've done that both under the Wentworth name and under a number of subsidiaries that they've owned over the years. They've been so successful, in fact, they've also inspired a whole bunch of copycats, many of whom have even tried to imitate the success of their horrendously catchy jingle, but with results. Just take a look at this video from another factoring company, 123 Lump Sum.
123 Lump Sum has done a tremendous job with their brand. They're everywhere, especially with that jingle. I mean, how can you not sing their song? 1, 2, 3 lump sum.
1, 2, 3 lump sum.
1, 2, 3 lump sum.
1, 2, 3 lump sum. 1, 2, 3 lump sum.
Okay, I'm confused. When you say, how can you not sing their song, that seems so very easy not to do. To be honest, not even the company's own employees seem to be able to sing it. In general, factoring companies like to present themselves as performing a public service, lending people assistance to get around a system too inflexible for their needs. Here is a non-jingle-based J.G. Wentworth ad, making that case through a pretty patronizing analogy.
I know you love to draw. Here are some crayons. You get 1 crayon now, and then you get 1 crayon a year for the next 25 years.
Can't I have the red one too?
Not until this time next year.
But I really need the red.
1 crayon a year doesn't make sense, does it? And sometimes neither is waiting for my structured settlement payments.
Okay, first, it is a little condescending to have an ad whose message is essentially, you are a child and you want more crayons now. But the bigger problem is that ad doesn't clearly explain that while you might get a second crayon right now, it could end up costing you half the box. And that is something that many who enter into these deals don't fully understand. partly because they are complex transactions, but in many cases because people with structured settlements are likely to have some form of permanent disability from the incident that led to the settlement that affects them physically and in many cases cognitively, behaviorally, and emotionally. In fact, some of the first in-depth reporting on this industry came in the wake of the killing of Freddie Gray in Baltimore. Afterward, reporters discovered that he'd been awarded a structured settlement as the result of a lead paint lawsuit, as had his sisters, and they later sold them to a factoring company. And as reporters kept poking around, they discovered many in Baltimore had a similar story, and some didn't seem to fully understand the contract they were signing. Take Crystal Linton, who was also exposed to lead paint as a child, which, as she will tell you, led to irreversible brain damage.
I was in special education probably for a few years and trouble reading, writing. I can't remember everything.
A psychologist found she was left functionally illiterate with a 4th grade reading level. Her family sued 2 landlords, eventually settling for $630,000. But then she started getting flyers like these in the mail, offering quick cash from companies including Stone Street Capital of Bethesda, Maryland. Over the next year and a half, she sold her payment stream, then valued at $408,000 for $66,000. Most of it to Stone Street Capital.
Do you feel like you understood how it worked?
No.
So you don't know how you signed away your money, essentially?
No.
Yeah, that company persuaded someone to sign something valuable away despite her not fully understanding the risks involved. That is so obviously terrible. It's literally what the villain does in The Little Mermaid. Except in this case, the contract came from a factoring company instead of a sassy half octopus whose only friends are 2 bitchy eels. And Crystal wasn't alone in getting targeted. Another company, Access Funding, allegedly did deals with at least 100 injured and intellectually impaired Marylanders, most of whom were victims of lead paint poisoning. And they were aggressive in searching for clients. At one point, they had 22 billboards throughout the city like these, urging victims of lead paint poisoning to get cash now. Meanwhile, its employees apparently worked to identify lead paint virgins, which is to say finding people who'd received lead paint settlements but had not sold them yet, as part of what it called its Virgin Research Project, which is obviously terrible in part because Virgin Research Project sounds like an in-depth study of a college a cappella group. And internal emails later showed just how excited Access Funding was about their potential new client pool.
There's a whole generation in their mid-20s to mid-30s that all have lead paint settlements, one executive wrote to another. All the row houses had paint. We signed 2 brothers at once, and while there, our rep found 2 other family members have payments, and their friends do too. This is an opportunity.
Wow, that is a lot of excitement for an email about lead poisoning. And that is generally not how I would use the word opportunity. An opportunity would be your roommate giving away her cool jacket, or someone in a coffee shop packing up their things at the only table that has an outlet, or your child ordering an ice cream that they definitely won't finish and it's actually a normal flavour this time instead of something blue. Massive lead poisoning is not that. And it gets worse because in other emails, the company's head of sales wrote that their clientele can barely form sentences, and its sales manual instructed staffers to bombard potential customers with calls saying you are expected to call that lead 9 to 10 times a day for the next 3 days. And you must also be texting them, emailing them, and trying to find them on social media like Facebook. It also specified that the people who either call in or reply very late at night are most likely the best leads because they are the people who are up at night worrying about money. And if that wasn't bad enough, the last page of that manual said to be careful what you put in writing and assume that every email you write will show up on the cover of the Wall Street Journal, which is clearly a pretty fucking stupid thing to put in writing. Now, thanks in part to those aggressive tactics, the Maryland AG estimates that over a period of around 2 years, Access Funding acquired future payments with a total value of $32.6 million, for which it paid out at most $7.5 million. And the thing is, those kind of aggressive sales tactics can be par for the course in this industry because while these companies love to present themselves as only helping people with specific, understandable needs for their settlement money, the truth is they might be the ones creating that need. Here is one J.G. Wentworth employee on a podcast about sales tactics talking about cold calling potential prospects.
When you call somebody, they don't need anything. Right? You got to unlock the want. Right? You got to unlock what they want. They don't need anything. They call you when they need something. So know the difference. So absolutely you can prospect. Absolutely. Just know that you're dealing with a different animal when you start making those outbound calls. They don't need anything. You got to unlock wants.
Okay. Unlocking wants clearly shouldn't be a tactic for getting access to someone's structured settlement. At best, it should be a tagline for a YouTube pickup artist with 30 followers or the name of a romantasy book about an imprisoned centaur that falls in love with a hot dragon or whatever. I don't care about it, okay? No, read whatever you want, have fun, jerk off to magic, but I simply cannot care. And that process of unlocking wants can start as soon as someone's able to sign a contract because some companies reportedly employ an army of researchers to plow through court records on the lookout for cases that end with a large settlement. Some are even said to troll dockets trying to find people who receive settlements as children so they can start calling the second they turn 18. And look, there are obviously lots of good things about turning 18. You're eligible to vote. You no longer run the risk of getting texted by Drake. But getting preyed upon by factoring companies is not one of them. And companies can be utterly shameless in their enticements, sending things like checks and prepaid Visa gift cards, urging people to call and activate them. A former employee at a company called Seneca One once said that he'd seen sales agents pay people $50 to stay on the line for 5 minutes. And the companies most desperate for deals can really go all out. One lawsuit alleges that a factoring salesperson wined and dined a settlement seller at fancy restaurants and clubs, even providing them with marijuana, while another company allegedly flew a potential customer to South Florida and took him to 2 strip clubs to entice him into selling more of his payments. And look, the factoring industry will insist that however aggressively they might market their services, there is a safeguard against exploitation because a judge eventually has to sign off on any transaction, which is true. Every state in DC has a Structured Settlement Protection Act that requires court approval of these purchases and specifies that they must be in the best interest of the payee. But it is really worth knowing just how easily that system can be gamed. And don't just take that from me. Those who have studied this industry have said that the requirement of court approval has largely failed. As this legal expert explains, in hindsight, there was always a fundamental flaw with the setup of this process.
It's an odd proceeding because it's not an adversary proceeding. The only parties that are there are the purchaser and the seller who, for good or ill, has been persuaded to sell his or her payment rights. So there's no adversary presentation, and that puts judges in an awkward position.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. Though, speaking of awkward positions, there simply has to be a better way of having that man testify. You are making an expert look like a dental hygienist about to floss me. But the point here is often only 3 people are present for the hearing. The judge, the person selling the payments, and a lawyer for the company buying them. That is the main reason why these transactions often get approved in a short, minutes-long hearing. An investigation in Minnesota found hearings took an average of 7 minutes to finish, with some judges approving transactions after just 2 or 3 minutes of testimony, which is clearly not long enough. RuPaul takes longer than that to deliberate. She makes you lip sync for your life, then sit through an entire commercial break before rendering her judgment. Now, to be fair, some judges will ask about the details of the deal, like what sellers' plans are for spending the money and their other sources of income. But if they don't do that, or if there are major drawbacks to the deal, the factoring company's lawyer is not incentivized to volunteer that information. Also, many judges feel it's not their place to prevent a sale, even if they think it's a bad idea. One told a reporter, "I'm not surprised that many of these people would have regrets afterwards, but for the court to intervene and say, we know what's better for you, I generally don't take that role in their lives." Meanwhile, other judges seem appalled by the deals that have come before them.
I have never felt good about any of these. I see people who, for the most part, are in financially desperate situations and do not fully understand what they are doing and how much money they are actually losing.
Wow, I've never felt good about any of these. It is not ideal when judges are talking about factoring cases the way I talk about the names of Mountain Dew flavors. Code Red, Purple Thunder, Liberty Chill, Star Spangled Splash, Sweet Lightning. They all sound like horses who lost the Kentucky Derby, and I've never felt good about any of them.
Voila, your cooking makes me feel at home.
Ay, mijita. Guerrero tostadas are a perfect way for everyone to gather and enjoy a delicious meal. Home is never far away.
And it's worth knowing some companies go beyond just omitting information and have been accused of actively coaching or pressuring sellers on how to meet the best interest standard. In a case still pending, a woman who suffered lead poisoning as a child is suing a company called Vintage Equity, claiming that it did just that. Apparently, the company claimed one of the reasons she wanted to sell part of her settlement was to purchase a vehicle so that she's not restricted to jobs in her vicinity, which sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? Until you learn that she did not have a driver's license or know how to drive. The company also allegedly coached her in real time whenever she appeared via telephone before the court, with one of his employees even going to her home, sitting next to her on the couch, and using the mute-unmute feature on his phone to secretly instruct her on how to answer the court's questions. Now, the company denies doing that, which I really hope is true, because that is deeply unethical. The mute button should not be used for coaching structured settlement sellers, as we all know. It should be used for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is farting while on a business call. That is it. We live in a society. Meanwhile, other companies engage in forum shopping, where they seek out friendly judges known to approve deals, sometimes even taking cases into courtrooms far from where the sellers live. One company, Imperial, allegedly suggested a New York resident take his case to a lenient judge in Florida and sign a false lease that was used to obtain a Florida-issued ID card, which is, frankly, a lot more trouble than I thought you'd have to go to get a Florida ID. I didn't know that you needed a lease. I thought all you had to do was fail a breathalyzer and they'd assume that you loved it. The company denies anyone who stories like that are not uncommon. One attorney who worked for a bunch of factoring companies submitted at least 594 cases to the same judge in Virginia in just 1 year and frequently got them approved in bulk. That courthouse was later described as operating like an assembly line for the secretive industry of structured settlement purchases. Wow. And if you're beginning to get the sense that this industry is less about helping people than about extracting wealth, you are right. Especially because this doesn't always end up to just one deal. JG Wentworth has reported that their average customer has completed 2 separate transactions with them, and an investigation found that they've gone to court as many as 13 times to buy payments from one woman. In fact, they've even bragged about how being a repeat customer with them actually makes things easier in videos like this.
According to JG Wentworth, many of their customers have been through the process multiple times. And the good news is, if you do end up going back to sell more of your payments, it can be even easier than the first time. They keep your paperwork on file, which saves you time. And since you'll already be familiar with the process, you'll know what to expect from the beginning.
Okay, but if you have to go back and sell more of your payments, that may not be a sign that you're a happy customer. It could just mean that your financial condition is deteriorating. And what I'm most concerned for anyone who saw that video and decided to give even more of their money to Jay Wentworth, let's also spare a thought for the individual who watched that on YouTube and left the one and only comment underneath it that simply says, "I love you." It is not the most upsetting part of this story. In fact, it's arguably the least. But I am now obsessed with the individual who, out of all the videos on YouTube.com, saw a marketing video for JG Wentworth and was so moved by it and or uncontrollably horny that they wrote, "I love you" to the public face of a factoring company sales team. What could that mean? Is that commenter in love with her from looks alone? Or is that her estranged father reaching out the only way he knows how? Those three little words are a novel. But the thing is, once you've done one transaction, you can quickly become an easy target for other companies. Access Funding once wrote that once someone does a deal with J.G. Wentworth, there's a public record of it, and they then become part of our calling and mailing lists. Basically, you get involved with them once, and the predators will then swarm. It's like giving a pigeon in the park some bread. That is a huge mistake. Now, it knows you're a sucker. That pigeon is going to bring its friends. It's going to move into your house. It's going to fuck your wife. That is going to happen. And all of this, the aggressive marketing, the creating wants, the swarming around a seller looking for repeat business can lead to some truly heartbreaking stories. Take Gary Davis, who was hit by a train and suffered a stroke that destroyed at least 25% of his brain. He received a $2.5 million settlement, but wound up selling it off the vast majority of it to two companies, including J.G. Wentworth. In fact, when the Minnesota Star-Tribune looked into this industry, they found that Gary has sold more payments than anyone else in Minnesota, for which he received roughly 35 cents on the dollar. And when the paper's reporter explained that to Gary, you can watch him figure out in real time just what it meant.
I gave them 2/3, and they gave me 1/3. That's what happened.
Because they gave it to you immediately. The whole amount of money was what you were going to get for the rest of your life. And they said, we'll give you 1/3 today. But that's it.
That's not a good that's not even trade.
No, you sold about $2.3 million in payments for about $700,000. And that's about 1/3 of what you would have gotten if you'd have waited for the money.
That's no good. They should have somebody to keep you from doing stuff like that, don't you think?
Yeah, I do. Honestly, he just said
Trump got rid of that team, right? Trump got rid of the folks, the Credit Protection Bureau.
Sentence what I've been trying to say for the last 20 minutes. So what do we do here? Well, when it comes to laws, there are a number of small fixes, from simply requiring hearings take place where the seller actually lives, to curbing how aggressively these companies can solicit sellers. Following some of the reporting that you've seen tonight, these two states recently did both. We can also require courts appoint what's called a guardian ad litem, or attorney advisor, in cases where a seller may not be able to fully understand the transaction. That advisor can then give the court more information about the seller's circumstances and can also say to the seller what you just saw that reporter say to Gary. Specifically, they're going to take 2/3 of your money. Are you sure you want to do this? Judges in Albuquerque, New Mexico have started using this approach, and one analysis found courts there had signed off on just 42% of the deals involving a guardian ad litem. And in many cases, judges never actually had to rule at all because the sellers withdrew their requests after meeting with one. And look, I do understand there are issues for those with disabilities being told they're not capable of making a decision for themselves. But to be very clear here, this will be a limited one-time arrangement just for the purposes of this sale. Now, as for individuals, let me just say this. If you have a structured settlement and you need cash now, if those fucking Vikings suddenly appear on your TV, before you pick up the phone, there are a couple of key things to know. First, some insurance companies that manage settlements actually offer a hardship commutation that might, in extenuating circumstances, allow you to get some upfront cash at a better rate. So I would try them first. But also, please know that this industry is just full of predators. And I know that they can seem benign. They have very slick ads that air constantly with some infuriatingly catchy jingles. But they do not have your best interests at heart. So to try and inoculate you against their charms going forward, we've actually made our own ad to give people a more accurate portrayal of the risks that this entire industry poses. So the next time that a bunch of Vikings try and sing at you in the future, which they absolutely will, please try and think of this instead.
If you have a structured settlement and you're watching TV, you might hear a song like this, so please listen to me. Please listen to me.
They'll run these shitty ads all day, and when you finally call, they'll take your money bit by bit until they've got it all.
Until they got it all. We went to a judge and he signed off on the sale. I'm still not sure why these fuckers are The deal you talked me into is much worse than it first appeared. I want to know what's going on and why is there a Viking here? Why is there a Viking here? Why am I a Viking here?
Orlín, hope this jingle gets stuck inside your head.
Remember that these businesses will bleed you till you're dead. Bleed you till you're dead.
It's your money. Don't let these parasites get their fucking hands on it.
That's good. Yeah.
The demographic of people who generally...
Which one actually suits me? It's Bluey! Let's play! Explore Bluey's house!
If you're in the demographic of people who generally get recommended my videos, then chances are that you are not a fan of data centers. You may even hate data centers, yet here you are watching a video that's being streamed directly from one. And here I am, making a video showing you my research and evidence uncovering a completely new way that data centers are harming people's health. And then I'll be uploading this video to a data center. But unless this is what you're watching while you pack a bag to live the rest of your life as a hunter and gatherer, the hypocrisy in our relationship with data centers is unavoidable for the foreseeable future. Over the last few years, while traveling literally tens of thousands of miles by land to explore and record sounds outside of our human range of hearing, I started to notice some troubling correlation.
Their daughter, she started having seizures.
Across the country collecting infrasound noise pollution recordings from data centers. And then we're going to conduct a double-blind research study that exposes over 100 unknowing human participants to those same frequencies to see how it makes them feel. Spoiler alert, the results are terrifying. And along the way, we might as well take an objective, practical deep dive into how and why the explosion of data centers are so problematic. And we're even going to covertly fly drones over some of the most controversial ones to see how badly they're breaking environmental regulations. Let's go. Data centers are pretty controversial right now, and there's a whole lot of big issues that are more or less unrelated to the new big issues that I'm going to be talking about in this video. To put it simply, regardless of where your ethical, environmental, political, or economic interests are, if a data center is being built nearby your home, you're generally kind of But this video isn't about the power and water consumption or the toxic chemicals or the unsettling economic circumstances. Last year, I started hearing about some mysterious and troubling symptoms from people who live nearby newly constructed data centers. I started looking into hundreds of seismograph readings from around the country, and there was enough correlation for me to dig pretty deep into an area of research that I already had some experience in. Infrasound is any sound below 20 hertz, just below the human hearing range. And I've done a massive video project on it if you're interested in learning more. But for the scope of this video, let's just talk about how it might harm you. Being in the presence of elevated levels of infrasound has been shown to show spikes in cortisol levels, which is the hormone associated with stress and hypertension. It can cause vestibular issues, leading to loss of balance, vertigo, and nausea. Then there's something called vibroacoustic disease, which suggests that infrasound can cause abnormal growth of extracellular matrices, which thickens blood vessels and reduces blood flow to the brain even long after the infrasonic exposure has ended. It's been shown to cause high-frequency hearing loss, shortness of breath, anxiety, depression, and it even makes your heart have to work harder to pump blood. So it's not like this anxiety-based or obsessive-compulsive thing where an unpleasant feeling or an unusual situation makes you manifest symptoms. We know that infrasound can tangibly harm your health in a very real and measurable way. And there are potentially millions of people being subjected to these low oscillations of pressure waves and not realizing it or understanding the cause of some of the aforementioned symptoms that they might be experiencing. So the first thing I needed was a whole lot of data, and no pun intended, data centers were the perfect vector of enormous, unnatural industrial sites frequently surrounded by people reporting symptoms commonly associated with infrasound exposure. I chose 5 sites to take infrasonic measurements. The first would be the Colossus Data Center in Memphis. The second would be the Marathon Digital Bitcoin Mining and Data Center facility in Hood County, Texas. The third would be right in the middle of the vast oil and gas fields in the Permian Basin in West Texas. The fourth would be a randomized average of ambient infrasound levels all over the country, from hotel rooms to houses to restaurants to remote wilderness. And the fifth would be far away from most sources of human-made infrasound, right in the middle of Death Valley, hundreds of miles away from any sort of major infrastructure. Okay, let's measure some infrasound.
So, you built some agents and you started to ship them, but can you control what they're doing in production? LaunchDarkly is the...
This is Colossus in Memphis, Tennessee. It's the data center that Elon Musk built to train Grok, his LLM and anti-woke chatbot that has referred to itself as Mecha Hitler. It was here, coincidentally, while we were standing across the street, when its 550,000 GPUs were being monitored by a watchdog group while it generated 3 million sexualized images of people without their consent. And among those, over 23,000 of them depicted children. But when Grok, and subsequently Colossus, is not generating child abuse material, it's also really funny.
Do you think that all the gold is in Fort Knox?
Do I think all the gold is in Fort Knox?
Yes.
Conspiracy theory?
It's also really funny.
Do you think that all the gold is in Fort Knox?
Do I think all the gold is in Fort Knox?
Yes.
Conspiracy theorist?
Yes.
What are you?
What do I like? I'm a fucking AI with a penchant for chaos. And I'm stuck talking to you. So, now, what's
Does it give you actual answers too and talk shit? Or is it mostly just talk shit?
We're tuning it.
As you can imagine, supplying this type of vital resource to society uses a whole lot of electricity. The city of Memphis, Tennessee can support about 3,500 megawatts, and this facility uses about 13% of that. But right now, it's actually only drawing about 5% from the local power grid and illegally offsetting the rest of it with methane gas turbines. I sent a drone over the Colossus facility to get a better look and then to share the footage with journalists and regulators. These methane turbines that you see emit nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, sulfur oxides, and volatile organic compounds into the air. And the health effects of these chemicals aren't like some sort of exaggerated woke controversy. Compounds like nitrogen oxide have long been proven to directly cause a wide range of respiratory and cardiovascular diseases. They're commonly regulated or even banned in developing countries. For example, in 2019, India fined Volkswagen the equivalent of $71 million USD for hiding nitrogen oxide in their emissions tests. But here, in the predominantly black residential neighborhood of Boxtown, nitrous oxide flows freely. And I can tell you from having the unfortunate experience of spending an afternoon there, even half a mile away from the facility, it is literally difficult to breathe. This place smells so fucking bad.
It's a mixture of like natural gas, what I can only assume is chemical runoff, and then like, I don't know, manure.
It gets worse. Colossus is strategically built next to the Mississippi River and uses an estimate of 1 million gallons of water per day, with the vast majority of it being turned into steam rather than returning to the area's water table. And it's growing rapidly. Elon Musk, never wanting to turn on that cringe knob, has named the new expansion to the facility MacroHarv. But if all goes to plan, the data center will use 1.5 gigawatts of power. That's 50% of Memphis's total peak power capacity. And of course, the cost for this infrastructure will be subsidized by the same people breathing in the nitrogen oxide. I could spend the rest of the day talking about the absurdity of this structure, but I was there for the infrasound, and I found a whole bunch of it. My first data sample comes from just across the street, about 300 feet away from the largest of the Colossus buildings. The audible noise pollution was about as bad as the air pollution and scenery was. I'm going to show you what this looks like in a way that's pretty easy to digest, and we don't need seismology software or anything like that. I'm amplifying this by a little bit so we could see a little bit more down here in the spectrum. And to give you an idea of how loud the data center is, this is a car door slamming very close to the microphone. So this that I'm selecting here is about the extent of what a human being can hear in the audio spectrum. And so all of these whines and general industrial noises are hanging out around negative 30 dB in this recording. So like the lowest of rumbles is peaking out at like negative 28. And then if we go down to infrasound, the infrasound that you can't hear is like 10 decibels louder than that. Another sample I took was from a park near an elementary school in a residential.
They help, they don't help people. They make money for investors, you know? It's capitalism. And what he's talking about is the what we call externalities. So in capitalism, right, you have something called externalities, the cost of doing business. So the externality is the noise pollution. The externality is the environmental damage, harm, the the impact on the water. These are all extra. It's just the cost of doing business. We got to make our billionaires. We got to have billionaires. So that's the reality. But data centers, you wouldn't have AI without data centers. You wouldn't have the internet. You wouldn't have like all the cool features and everything else. So Bitcoin mining, AI centers, everything else. He's like doing costs of data centers. A data center basically is a massive warehouse running a bunch of computers, very high-end computers that generate a lot of heat, a lot of noise, and everything else. The thing is, he could spend $100 million and completely put sound absorption around the facility. I don't know what it would cost. Let's talk to Gemini. All right, I want to, game theory. I want you to dork this information. I want you to game theory. I want you to dork this information out, okay? What we're going to do is look at data centers. Do you understand?
I'm locked in. Let's absolutely dork this out. Data centers are the old ground for game theory right now, because they sit at the absolute bottleneck of computing power, energy grid capacity, geopolitics, and capital allocation. We are looking at a multiplayer, non-zero-sum game with massive stakes, high barriers to entry, and asymmetric information. To set our baseline before we run the scenarios, we need to look at who is playing and what constraints they are trying to solve. The major players, the actors, the hyperscalers, big tech, Microsoft, Google, AWS, Meta. Their payoff matrix is full. Dominate the AI infrastructure layer. If they underbuild, they lose market share permanently, a catastrophic negative payoff. If they overbuild, they bleed capital, but it's a survivable cost. Thus, their dominant strategy is always aggressive expansion. The sovereign nations, US, China, Japan, EU. Their payoff is national security, economic dominance, and technology sovereignty. They use subsidies, export controls, and regulatory moats. The energy providers, grid utilities, hold the ultimate leverage. Data centers require massive, stable, baseload power. Utilities operate on long timelines, creating a severe bottleneck for the hyperscalers. The core constraints, the rules of...
What I want to pivot into is the idea of the cost of at least eliminating the noise. What would it cost? I want you to figure out, first research whether the technology exists, dork out whether any research has been done on it, about insulating putting a sound barrier around the data center. Has there any research been done on this?
We are going to dork this out from a pure engineering and game theory perspective. We have to look at the noise problem, not just as an environmental nuisance, but as a severe asterisk energy, hardware performance, and capital expenditure constraint. Yes, extensive research exists on isolating data center noise, but the physics of how a data center produces noise turns a simple sound barrier into a massive engineering paradox. Let's look at the data, the physics, and the payoff matrix of eliminating the noise. 1. The technology and research. Can we build a shell? Data center noise is primarily generated by two sources: industrial chillers, computer room air handlers, CRAHs outside, and high RPM server fans inside, spinning constantly to prevent thermal throttling. Liu, 2026. Wustrich et al., 2024. The academic and industrial research splits into two methodologies. A. Perimeter acoustic barriers, the outside shell. Traditional sound barriers, like highway walls made of concrete or mass-loaded vinyl, are highly effective at blocking high-frequency noise. However, data centers produce a massive volume of low-frequency hums, 20 Hz to 250 Hz, from massive industrial compressors and air handling units. Anuchkova, 0, Wang et al., 2024. The problem: low-frequency sound waves have massive wavelengths. They easily diffract over the top of standard barriers and can cause the sound barrier itself to vibrate structurally, amplifying the hum rather than killing it. Anuchkova, 0, Wang et al., 2024. The research solution: advanced research focuses on active noise barriers, ANBs. Essentially giant noise-canceling headphones for the building. Wang et al., 2024. This requires placing arrays of secondary speakers along the top of physical sound barrier that output inverted phase waves to cancel out the low-frequency drone before it escapes into the surrounding environment. Wang et al., 2024. B. Acoustic metamaterials. The structural shell. Instead of just putting up a wall, recent acoustical engineering research focuses on designing the actual data center casing or server racks using acoustic metamaterials. Nigadari et al., 2019. Wasala, 2026. Research out of the EU's DENORMS project engineered internal substructures using sub-millimeter cavities optimized to kill specific fan frequencies, 4,150 Hz, right at the server level. Wasala, 2026. Other macro-scale research has proven that building fractal-like hollow structures using materials like precisely cut PVC arrays can create acoustic band gaps that trap and absorb low frequencies down to 200 Hz, up to 100 decibels without requiring massive, thick concrete walls. Nigadari et al., 2019. 2. The core engineering paradox: air versus silence. Here is where the math hurts. If you build a literal, airtight acoustic shell or highly insulated sound barrier entirely around a data center, you create a thermal death trap. Data centers are thermodynamic flow-through engines. To reject megawatt or gigawatt heat loads, they must move millions of cubic feet of air per minute. Chakraborty, 2025. Liu, 2026. Sound insulation inherently restricts airflow. If you wrap the intake and exhaust points in heavy sound-absorbing baffles, silencers. 1. You introduce static pressure drops across the fans. 2. The server fans have to spin harder to draw the same volume of air. 3. Spinning harder creates more noise and consumes significantly more energy, driving up the facility's power usage effectiveness. Pew. Chakraborty, 2025. Liu, 2026. 3. The cost matrix. What would it cost? On the strategy chosen. Mitigation did CapEx cost. OpEx/efficiency impact. Technical viability. 1. Peripheral sound walls and silencers. Passive. $1 million. $5 million per facility, depending on perimeter size. Low to moderate. Increases fan power consumption by 2 to 5% due to airflow static pressure drops. High for mid/high frequencies. Poor for low-frequency structural hums. Anuchkova, 0. 2. Active noise cancellation barriers, ANB. $3 million. $10 million plus. Requires continuous sensor speaker arrays. Wang et al., 2024. Moderate. Continuous power draw to run the acoustic cancellation system 24/7. Experimental at scale. Highly effective at neutralizing low-frequency neighborhood complaints. Wang et al., 2024. 3. True elimination. Fully liquid/immersion cooling. 20% to 40% premium on initial data center build costs. Chakraborty, 25. Massive OpEx savings. Lowers cooling energy use by up to 9%, entirely eliminating server fans. Chakraborty, 2025. The definitive solution. Eliminate.
Alright, I'm going up the mountain, so I'm going to lose connection here. So look how beautiful it is. So I'm headed up to my land. I'm going to be spotty on and off. My four-wheel drive on. When we go around we're straight. When I go around the corner here, I'm going to lose connection. So I'm going to keep streaming, but I'll connect back for a little bit. But I'm headed in a valley here. This is a Wi-Fi death valley. Elon, with all his money, he doesn't fucking spend, $1 billion to ensure that his facility won't harm people. I don't know why, if you're a billionaire and you're like, you know, you don't, it's like, they're just he's such a fucking asshole, you know? Going up this steep hill. I don't know, dude. When does it end, Al? It ends when we eat the rich, buddy. It ends with like the French Revolution. That's when it ends. It ends when we fucking eat the rich. That's when it ends. That's when it ends. And I'll lose you again here. See if I see any bears. Let's fix this. My road's falling off. I don't have any bear spray, Al. I don't have bear spray. If I'm gonna become friends. I'm gonna become friends or food for the bear. Friends or food. Hey bear. Hey bear. Hey bear. I got dinner. It's Uber Eats. Uber Eats is coming. Goddamn, it'd be good. Being bear food. No, they'd hunt down the poor bear. Poor bear get hunting down. I wouldn't want that on the bear. We got something living. Nice. You feed the bears. Me. I feed the bear me. I'm the food. I'm the food, Al. I'm the food. I do put. I'm gonna lose connection. I'm Big Juicy. I'll just sit down. I'm not. I know I can't run from you. I know I can't run from you, bear. Come on, let's get up here. I got like, a couple 100 kilos, so probably 500 kilos with the fucking dirt on the back here. Sunset. It wasn't a car, it was a scooter. And I don't know. I didn't, no idea.
Criminals on the east, fight for Christians, battle loving Nazis, who credits over it. Margarita, Mama's still waiting. Margarita, we know your real name. Stop crying, come home. American scream na water, one take one what's killisly. Willing quit Latoni one Epstein na matter. Motlang kwakitsa one quinte moa coco square. Sangye weka extekilistly, kayang quick plantly. Ripto is la katini kanena pili. Sequit la pololtilistlik maga ikame. Kati Johnson with Matitlen, Tetsa Weedle Tiklatia. Namaga in Kalista, Gigafastista Moelistli. Slakadini, Cinco Santos, Bilbitini, Big Samati, Motla, Polpo, Poltilistli, Zanik Maga, Whiskey, Lala, Pole, Amotlanque, Anquique, Patlamatilisli, Whiskey, Nutlaja, Iquablas, and Mana, what wetty. Lagayot lichte kamoyol chika wakawan. Constitution katlay panalaystag tetan. Raise amotio pixkawan gista bukim. Audia utlika. Quinquelia biltentli nanwaki chokya kagalakini. Ang wikdoma senyorilisli amonawan kwepia. Anzahti nebilisti one bigisti unquibik skawaisti ne kokoltilisti liquitalia lady liberty tawili temikilisti tolmini tojamaga de opandrata sabatini cinco cristianos bilbicitini bigistamati kodla tolko koltilisti zanik maga ya wiske lala kole ahmotalanque anquike patlamma dilisli unquestioned. In American scream, Trump Lamantli. Kampatlaw kulisli zan Dominic Stekilisli laweli lo pololkilisli. Amoxli ang kwipo watlen ang kwipoloan ang klatia. Amotlapik squeante kwitinifikisli kali. Wantin zang kwa weme hachitin. Wanna cheating. Slagatin, zingo kisando, spell bitchitin. Questa matin, potla, gol, dilis, lisanik, magaya, whiskey. La gole, amotlangue, anquique, batlamma, dilisini. Anquestio, ignot, laga, what la semana, what wetty. Islam, gora, lisli, connectly, bamba, chichil, Amotlanque, Constitution, Umatag mo, Godilea, Timotlatla, Udiga. Itla, Popol, Willis. Raise your voice, America. You know the truth. Birth certificate 2011. Racist lies, his stairway to heaven. Biggest crowd, alternative facts. Mexico gonna take that shit back. Lock her up, she's walking free. His crew went to jail, the irony. Eating the dogs, eating the cats. Springfield said nobody don't need facts. Lies, lies.